Hi everybody! Today we're going to be showing you how you can create new looks from existing home decor pillows. So we're being sustainable. We're going to show you two home decor pillows that we're changing up for less than $5 each. And be sure and watch till the end because we are going to be able to show you a second look for less than $1 more. Hi, I'm Terri with Morning Dewdrops by Terri Stevens. I'm in Alexandria, Louisiana, and we have two locations for our JRV Stencil and Decoupage retail. Just across the Red River, we have Pineville Treasure Chest 2, and we are located in booth 65. We now have a chain, and we have a second location in just south of here, Bunkie, Louisiana, at Griffin's Antiques and Main Street Market in booth 12. Be sure to check out other retailers in your area. We also have a website and an online store where we will be adding our JRV Stencil and Decoupage line for sale online by the end of the week. I just haven't got to that part yet. It's a new something we started just this year. So be sure to say hi, say where you're from, share this if you like it. And we are a show. This is our first episode. And it's called The Art of Doing, Creativity in Home Decor and More. So we hope that you find some inspiration in creating home decor, whether it be in your home, in your business, or for gift items. So what we're going to be doing today is, let me get the good lighting, is this pillow wrap featuring JRV stencils. This is so cute. It's great for seasonal. So we're looking for the fall and we're looking into Thanksgiving. This is what it looks like on the back. Did you know that home decor pillows sales are on the rise and designer pillows can run up to $200 each? Well, we're going to do an upcycle and we're going to spend $5. That's right. And we've created a way how to make these no-sew. We're so excited. So let's get started. We always start with our essential tools. And by that, I mean what we use over and over again, and they become an investment. So we are going to be working with, let's see if I can hold this up. This, let's see, JRV stencil. And what I love about these stencils is I have used this just when it says farmer's market or locally grown, and I will mask off today the pumpkin patch, and that's what we'll be putting on our pillow wrap. I had a customer recently tell me that she will buy no other stencil from now on except JRV, because when she went to the big box craft stores, she was having to buy two of the same one because she knew she would damage one. And here's why. JRV stencils are 15 mils thick. You can put texture on these. You can clean these. You will not damage these. They are so durable. And even custom stencils are only 10 mils thick, and the ones that you do get at craft stores are usually only 7 to 8 mils thick. We also want to check out what tools you use to stencil with. we use the JRV brushes, stencil brushes. They come in different sizes, and you want to look for one. And the reason why we love these is you look for the long barrel. You also look for the denseness of your bristles, and you want them firm but not too hard. So these are our go-to stencils and brushes. Okay, so first let's talk about fabric. I use, when working with these, 100% natural fiber. You'll see why as we go along. So you want 100% cotton or 100% linen. Linen can be on the pricey side. However, last October, I bought some linen and I only paid $8 a yard for it versus $24 because at that time of year, it's about 75% off. Today, we're working with duck cloth, or some people know it as canvas cloth. It's 100% cotton. For those of you who don't work with fabric very much, you have the folded side that comes on the bolt. Then you have the selvage side, and then you have the width. The grain goes across the width of the fabric. So we have to get our grain straight. Once you do that, you are not going to have a problem lining up anything. And it is so easy. And it's so much fun. So what you do is you take your fabric and some scissors. Now, when they cut from that bolt at the fabric store, they might not be cutting it even or on the grain. So you take a snippet of the selvage and you rip. And you rip all the way across to the other selvage. Okay, that is on the grain. We have a perfect edge. So what we do is we're going to be going over all the measurements. We're going to have demos. This is going to be so easy for y'all. The selvage will go down 11 inches, and we will snip that and rip that. And from there, what we have is a piece of 11 in 11 grain to grain, and then you have selvage to selvage. We only need 36 inches to create our pillow wrap. So this first demo is going to start with us cutting that 11-inch strip of fabric to 36 inches because this is probably 54 inches wide. And we end up with a little bit of remaining, but I save that for other projects, which we might do later. So let's take a look at what we do with our heat and bond. Our heat and bond is something that you can get from any craft store. And we are using the no-sew. You have it. The no-sew is the red. So it says no-sew. Do not sew this on your sewing machine. You'll ruin your needle. And it comes in 17 inches by 36 inches. And the value pack comes in 17 inches by 5 yards. And this cost about $3. This one can run, believe it or not, from about $12 to $20. I actually found mine for $8. So you want to be sure and shop around. What that looks like is, here's a piece of it. that I've cut, but you have a paper side and you have a shiny fibrous side, and this is the adhesive side that we'll lay down and iron on top of the paper. So once you cut out these few pieces, you can use the paper backing as a pattern to cut out others. Now, if you are a sewer, you can get the Heat and Bond light sewable, but that's not what we're doing today. We need the red pack. Okay, so let me show you. I did a demo with it really close up, so I'm just giving an overview right now, but here's our 11 by 30 inch strip. Okay, we took a 1 inch by 11 inches, and we cut 2 of them. And I saved this part of the paper for my pattern, so I don't have to measure it again. From the Heat and Bond, and we've already added that onto this one. Let's see where the light is. Yeah, there you go. Onto this one, folded it over, and on the sides we folded over 1 inch and ironed that in place. Then we have a 1 by 5 inch strip that we've already ironed on, and then we have an 11 by 34 inch that we have already ironed on. So we've ironed these on, but we have not peeled back the paper yet. But this is what it looks like. The reason why it's 34 inches, remember, is because we had 36 inches, but we have turned in the size a 1 inch fold on each. So that's the overall. Now let's go into our close-up of where we're taking the larger piece and cutting the 36 inches. Okay, so we're going to do some cutting before we start ironing, and this is a mock-up of our completed pillow wrap. I do this so that next time I make these I have a pattern, but we are going to cut 36 inches from the piece of fabric that we have already ripped at 11 inches. We're going to allow 2 inches, 1 inch on each side to fold over to have a finished length of 34 inches of our pillow wrap. We're going to cut 4 8-inch elastic ribbon, and we are also going to take our Heat and Bond. Remember, we started out with 36 by 11 inch cut and ripped fabric. For the sides of the Heat and Bond, which is this right here, we're going to cut 2 strips 1 inch by 11 inch. Then we're going to cut 34 inch by 5.5 inch of the Heat and Bond, which is half the total width of 11 inches of our wrapper fabric. And we're also going to cut 2 strips of the Heat and Bond 1 inch by 5.5 inches. So go along the bottom of your 11 inch strip, cross the grain, and measure out. You can measure 36 inches, draw your cutting line, and then cut that, and we will have our fabric ready. If you've never worked with Heat and Bond,
it looks like this. It's kind of shiny and fibrous. This is your adhesive side. That goes down and you iron on top of the paper, and when that's cooled you peel off the paper. So we have all the heat and bond cut. So the instructions say for the heat and bond to put the adhesive side down, iron on the paper side, keep it at a medium setting with no steam for about 2 to 3 seconds in each area. Now, what we've done is, this is one end where you have the 11 inches, and we're going to turn this under. So we have put the heat and bond up to as close as we can get it. To the edge, to this edge, and we are going to do as it says. Now we'll flip it around and we'll do the same thing to the other side, and once the paper has cooled, you simply peel it back. And I'm going to set this little guide here at 1 inch. You're welcome to use a ruler or your tape measure. You can also pin it if you like. And we are going to, okay, with our heat and bond somewhat laid out at the very bottom of our fabric, we are going to keep our line on the very edge of the fabric, and starting from the middle, we're going to go ahead and count those 2 or 3 seconds.
Okay, so that's how we get started, and there is a second segment on the rest of creating or making your pillow wrap, but we're going to be using an elastic ribbon. This is, did some research and found it. This is the ribbon that they use to make babies' headbands. This particular one is Mandala, M-A-N-D-A-L-A craft fold over elastic band, 5/8 inch cream, and I got it on Amazon for $11 for 20 rolls, and you need 1 yard for each pillow wrap, and you cut 4 strips 8 inches long. So if you don't need this much, you can go to your fabric store and have them cut exactly what you need. So here's the rest of making our pillow wrap.
Make sure y'all see this. Going down the length of our fabric. So starting from the center where we left off, you can see how easy, because of us putting it on the grain, how easy everything lines up. I mean, I'm hardly having to hold the paper at all in that area. So we'll continue adding it or ironing it to the fabric. With each of those 1, by 5.5 strips is adhesive side down. Okay, we're going to start by pulling the paper off this long piece. So now we have the paper pulled off except for these 2 short strips. Starting in the middle, or approximately in the middle, you don't have to measure, but we're going to bring the side of the fabric that doesn't have the heat and bond to the edge of the fabric. See that? Raw edges together, and we're going to always iron on a high setting from the raw edges that we've put together upward. We'll let the iron form that fold as we keep everything straight. And again, once that starts, it's so easy to keep it straight. There's no, if you hadn't have done this and put this on the grain, you'd have buckling and distortion and maybe some folds in there. Okay. So from about the center, we ironed, but we're not going to go to the very end yet. We want to make sure that we leave, or we stop about 2 inches, 2 to 3 inches from the end. I just make a mark. I'll just tie that knot like that. Pull off our paper. It's easier to do it from here, from the top at the fold. And hand press it. Measure 1.25 inches down from the fold, and with the shiny side up, lay it about 1 inch in, and keep it flat and straight. And then we'll iron it in place. Make sure you don't keep going. Okay, now we'll go and do the same thing.
Okay, this is great. I used a seam gauge, but you're welcome to use a ruler or a tape measure when you are ironing on the ribbon elastic. And this is it. You have a pillow wrap with your ribbon elastic ties secured. Now, after I finished ironing the elastic ribbon on, I went ahead and ironed the complete thing on high setting, front and back. So this thing is very sturdy, and I have used these ties and they're staying. This is a no-sew. So let's get to the fun part. Let's get to stenciling. Okay. This is our palette. I used a, turn around. This is our, no, I'll do it this way. No, this is, this is our palette. I used a clay-based paint, and we're using a bright orange and a coral color, along with a golden mustard yellow color and a green color, kind of olive, and a dark brown. And the very bottom is just a coppery metallic. So that's our paint that we'll be using. And the demo is going to start with this stencil, and on top of our pillow wrap, and it's going to be masked down. Some of it's taped down, some of it's masked. When I say mask, I cover the top part of here because I don't want to stencil that part. So it's centered on our pillow wrap, and the stencil itself has been taped down as well in the center. So I love stenciling. It is the most affordable way to get started and for you to be creative. You see how many ways you can use these stencils. They can inspire you, and you can do a painterly effect that will, and that's what we're going to do today. And that's why our palette colors are there so many. You do not have to go to this extent, but I wanted to show you how you can and how you get those variations in depth in color. So let's go to our stenciling. So when stenciling, what I like to do is I'll start with our orange paint, and I always offload, always. And you can pounce. You can also work in a circular motion. But whatever you do, you don't want to get too much paint on your brush. And we're going to do somewhat of a painterly effect on our piece today. Now, you can like dot, pounce, if you feel like at some point you might have gotten too much paint at one time. You can always go back and make portions darker. The part of the beauty, and I'm even going to do the leaves, I'm going to do the whole thing in orange, and then I'm going to come back in and work a little bit of detail with some other colors. I forgot to add a green color, so we'll put that down. And now we'll add that color to our leaf, or leaves. And when we do this and we see that orange behind there, it just makes it, it gives it more depth and it looks more painterly. We can also do this leaf. And this one. We can come in with some brown. And do a little brown in the stems of the pumpkin. We can come back in with some more of the orange. And dab a little bit of that into our leaf. Trying to get all the fall colors. And we can also try some coral and go in and give our pumpkins some variation in color. And these little changes are subtle, but impactful, because you're no longer looking at them somewhat one-dimensional. Forgot to add that little. So here is some brown. And if I wipe off my brush, and I still have a little bit of brown on there, you can come in and add that color into some of our pumpkins. Giving some shading. Okay, before we continue, I wanted to let y'all know, if you see me offloading or taking it to the side, I always have a piece of cardboard with me, and this is what I offload the paint onto. And sometimes I offload so much that I can still come back off the cardboard and use some of the paint that I have offloaded. So let's talk about shading and highlighting. It's just paint, and this paint dries quick, so we can, if we think we have too much of the brown, we can come back in with some more of the orange. Get a new brush. I got a different brush because I don't have any water here, and I'm thinking that that brush might need washing off. Okay. Now, we'll continue to add some colors. I really like how that's looking. You can continue to go all over it.
And this also helps bring all the shading together. You can do that with a lighter color like this coral. I mean, you could actually put a little bit of, you can make your pumpkins any color you want. You could actually bring in a violet. Okay, so now that we have this part done, I always like to do highlights. And I just get a small brush with a tiny bit of white, and I'll go in the middle of some of these areas and blend that to some degree. If you feel like you get too much, so I think I will switch to a very small stencil brush, and I'm just bringing in some highlights. I should be following a light source, but if it was coming down, if the sun was coming down in this direction, it would be hitting here, and we'd also have some here. And if we are going to add some shading, we could have it in these areas as well.
Okay, so you can see how we're getting some depth. Now we're going to be doing some more blending and adding that copper metallic paint to have a little bit of shimmer in some of the area that we are stenciling, and then we'll have the big reveal, the showstopper.
And we can come back in with maybe some coral. And blend in some of our shadows we just made. So we have our highlights and our shading. And our colors in our pumpkins. We didn't add any yellow, just mustard yellow. we can do that. If you do add a contrasting color such as this, be sure that you put it in all of your pumpkins. I really like these colors through here. Just so your eye, you'll have visual eye movement. We can really put some of this in these leaves, even in the stems. Okay, I think I could play all day, so I'll stop. I think that's it. Oh, maybe not. I have here some metallic copper color, and we could go in and add, I'm talking very little, a shine, and again, if you put it in one, put enough of it in all of them. Okay, I think we're done. So, we can pull off our masking tape, or painter's tape. We're calling it masking tape. And you can reuse that. I reuse mine all the time. And voila. Look what we did. Isn't that pretty? So we had the, trying to get the light right. We had the pillow wrap of the pumpkins. And what I did is, since I made two, here's the length of it. And I'll show you the other stencil that I had used
for these leaves on the side. And I haven't washed these stencils. I truly wanted y'all to be able to see them, but I highly recommend whatever paint you use that it be water-based, because the paint's so easy to get off if it is. And you would, of course, follow instructions from whatever paint you may be using as how to set it in the fabric to be permanent. Okay, so this is their stencil, Grateful, Thankful, Blessed. So what I did is I created this the same way I just did, painted the pumpkins, same palette, same everything. And it says thankful. Isn't that pretty? And I also put the leaf berry motif for on the sides. And since our center was so decorative and pretty with all of the colors, the only color I used on the leaf portion up here, and that's just another way how I mix these stencils. All I used was the olive green and the copper metallic paint. So, before we go, because remember, I still have to show you that second look for under $1. I thought it would be cute to show you a little bit of our world in Louisiana and where we're located. And I did this little cute, I don't know, little cute 1 minute segment to show you a little bit and bring you into Louisiana and get to know us a little better.
Road trip, we're headed to Pineville Treasure Chest 2 across the Red River from Alexandria. We've got loads of JRV, stencils, and decoupage in booth 65. We have them displayed in this cute table that we made with the crate on top. We also have our decoupage and stencils on a rotating rack. Okay, let's head south to Bunkie, Louisiana. Isn't this the prettiest sugarcane you've ever seen, with these gorgeous blue skies? Don't worry, I'm not recording. Elizabeth is, and I've got Jimmy with us too. We're headed to Griffin's Antique and Main Street Market, where you'll find a very tiny but packed booth 12 for Morning Dewdrops, where we have the JRV, stencils, and decoupage. There's one of the pillow wraps. We went a little bit local because we've got cane and cotton. And isn't that the cutest sign? We have another rotating rack in this booth where you can find all the stencils and decoupage. I don't know about you. Let's head home and make something.
I don't know. I added that. I thought it was cute. Okay, our second look. You're gonna love this. It's reversible. So on the back of your pillow wrap, you can have a whole nother design. And when it's not the fall or Thanksgiving or Christmas or any other holiday you want to work with these, you can, or if there's that color or pattern you're wanting to experiment with, then you can put isn't that beautiful? I surprise myself with all this stuff because it surprises me. It just turns out so pretty. Okay, so this was the lace stencil that came out this summer from Mira, I think that's how she pronounces her name, part of the Jamie Ray Vintage line. And actually, I did it on the reverse side of the Thankful because I'm going to use this on a pair of pillows. So possibilities are endless because I'm so inspired that I'm going to take this stencil Farmhouse Christmas, and I'm going to put a fall look on one side for Thanksgiving, and I don't know, maybe the Monday after Thanksgiving, I'll just flip that over and it'll be Merry Christmas. So, but some of the others that I thought would be good was your Mama's Damask. It's a small damask. A toile, one of Jamie Ray's toiles would be beautiful with the little bee. With the little bee, I love these. And this is one, it's a vine, but that would be pretty going across the pillow. So, I'll take a look at the comments and everything, but I hope you have enjoyed getting into our little world, and I hope you walk away inspired to do some of these. Please, later on, if you do them, if you want to post them, I think that would be pretty cool. I just want to mention, I've got some notes, that I will be putting all of this on a blog post on my website because some people like to see it written instructions as well as visual instructions. So that's it. It's a wrap in a pillow wrap. We'll see you next time on The Art of Doing, Creativity in Home Decor and More. We will be on Jamie Ray Vintage retailer page every month, the first Tuesday of every month at noon Central Standard Time. And if I'm not mistaken, I just might be taking y'all to Europe in October, but I'm not going to tell you what country yet. So, I don't know how long we've been on. I knew this would be, let's see. I knew this would take a while. So, enjoy the rest of your day, and thanks again. Bye.